And even though they doubled up the marking on Big Elliott, Sutton couldn't prevent the ball from running on to Smith. It's the long throw. Elliott just knocks it back on. A nice turn by Smith here, and a crisp finish. So the partnership up front, which was an experiment tonight by Dave Smith, works again, and Jimmy Smith makes no mistake. And it looks very much now as though Torquay will be going to Basingstoke, Dave Smith's team, in the second round. Loram, oh, good little ball. Smith, they've got players up here. Elliott, oh, it ran behind him. Here's Holmes. And now Uzel. That's slowing up a bit in the wind, and here's Jimmy Smith, on for a hat-trick. Well, wasn't too far away, got everything right apart from the finish, but certainly Jimmy Smith is making the most of this fresh opportunity in the first team. 2 goals already, and he was away here, nodding it away from Tony Raines, and then shooting just too high. It may be again that the underdog's best chance was at home in the first match, as is often the case when you look at the way replays work out on the league club's ground. Hanlon back to Gates. Here's Hirons. That's a nice little ball inside to Joyce. And if they can get it out to Loram, Torquay always look threatening. He's got it back from Jimmy Smith. Elliott scores Torquay's 4th goal after 64 minutes, and the experiment of playing him up front, where he's never had a full game before, has certainly paid off with a vengeance. Sutton will testify to that. The cross coming in again, Loram working well on the right, and Elliott thumped it home. Away by Gates. And now it's Massey. Sutton have certainly tried to keep playing football. They've not been disgraced here by any means. But Torquay have known a bit too much for them at times. Hirons. Massey. Now, can they stay onside? Well, it won't matter because McKinnon got the ball off an opponent. Ikoku's in the middle, so is Seagroat. But crosses at that end of the ground are tending to float away in the wind, really. And I'm afraid Sutton's Cup hopes are doing exactly that. They've got the FA Trophy to look forward to, of course, another route to Wembley for a more realistic one for the clubs from outside the Football League. Hirons. Smith's in the middle. And still Hirons, oh, saved by the goalkeeper's feet. They're lining up again in there. Jimmy Smith is so keen to get his hat-trick. He was looking across there at Hirons as if to say you should have crossed it, but Hirons went for the far corner. Here's Massey for Sutton. Oh, he was too long on the ball there, Elliott. Joyce, Smith, he might get his hat-trick here. No, he hasn't. He just pulled it wide. This lad from Glasgow, well, he's a great Rangers supporter, is Jimmy Smith, and I suppose he's a sort of 4th division Mo Johnston, if you like. He's pretty nippy and very dangerous in there. But he couldn't finish there for what would have been his 3rd goal.
Last chance of the match. Sutton's Cup dreams finishing for another season.
This was Mark Lorham's opener in the 25th minute after fine work by Dave Caldwell, back with the goals on loan. Well, Caldwell himself scored number 2, a mistake here by Colchester goalkeeper John Grace, and Caldwell right on the spot to score. In fact, Caldwell made number 3, the flick on to Paul Smith for a clear run at goal. 3-0 then, United unbeaten now in 7 games. Well, on Boxing Day,
Whitehead's corner was flicked on by Sean Taylor. A crowd of more than 8,000 saw Exeter apply constant pressure. A second goal was inevitable. It came 6 minutes later. Great work this time on the right by talented Scott Hiley. His low cross was only parried by Ken Vasey before Rowbottom took his goal-scoring tally to 23 for the season. There was more for the City fans to cheer about in the second half when Clive Whitehead rounded off the scoring. Assistant manager Neville evading the tiring John Matthews and sliding an inch-perfect pass to the far post. So 9 points out of 9 for City in the space of 7 days to confirm their top-of-the-table position.
Yes, looking pretty impressive at the moment and running into form at just the right time. But can they sustain their success if they go on losing their best players? Well, manager Terry Cooper says he won't stand in Rowbottom's way if the big clubs pursue. Well, finally, a lovely little story for the turn of the year. Torquay's bell-ringing fan John Bartlett seems determined to carry on clanging despite being escorted off the ground by police. Well, Bartlett, a former Torquay town crier, has been clanging away at Playmore for the last 15 years. Well, police moved in to silence him during Saturday's home game with Maidstone after complaints from 2 fans. But other supporters rallied round to protect him, and police eventually agreed to take no action. Well, John sat out the rest of the match in the director's bar as Torquay won 2-1. And I'm delighted to report that John was back with his ding-a-ling at the Devon derby at Exeter City. So.
Torquay's big day got off to a shaky start, only a good save from Ken Vasey, keeping out Jimmy Quinn. Torquay rarely threatened, and even this scramble never tipped over into a West Ham panic. But 0-0 at half-time was probably better than many of the capacity crowd expected. The moment that turned the game, though, began with the coming on of an 18-year-old substitute who was only in the squad because others were injured, Paul Hirons. And Hirons it was who, with his first touch, scored the winner with 15 minutes to go. That must have seemed an eternity, but when West Ham's Leroy Rossenier headed their best chance over, it was all eyes on the referee.
Well, I seen Paul Smith run down on the right, and I think he knocked it back for Robbie Taylor to shot, and he knocked it inside to me, and I just let him hope for the best, and it went in. I couldn't believe it when it went in, like, and I knew we had to hang on for the last 6 minutes or so, and we'd be in the next round of the Cup.
I thought it was a great team performance and great for the fans because we lost badly to Exeter in our last league match, and we're back in favour again.
Well, that's one thing you can't.
David Frane's shot coming off the underside of the crossbar. 2 minutes before the break, Dave Caldwell almost scored for Torquay with this rasping drive from the edge of the area. In the second half, Torquay stepped up a gear. Carl Airey going close as the ball ran loose in County's penalty area. And then after 65 minutes, Sean Joyce struck one of the goals of the season. His 18-yard volley giving keeper David Redfern no chance. 11 minutes later, it was 2-0. Dave Caldwell in the right place to score his first goal at Playmore since returning from Belgium. And it was Caldwell who laid on Torquay's third goal just before the final whistle. Some great one-touch football with substitute Robbie Taylor planting the ball in the back of the net. 3-0 then to United, and the perfect build-up for next Saturday's big cup match at Blackpool.
Yes, very good win that for Torquay, and
Their opponents. They went down by a single goal at Blackpool. It was a carnival atmosphere at Bloomfield Road, but this was the happiest manager Dave Smith was to be all day, as chances proved few and far between. The best was probably this effort from Paul Smith in the first half. Torquay fell behind just before half-time, Matthew Elliott unable to clear, and Gordon Owen dipping his shot over Ken Vasey. Though they wouldn't have deserved a replay, Torquay could well have had a penalty in the second half. Paul Smith scythed down by Morgan. The referee wasn't impressed. But in slow motion, it's clear Smith did get to the ball and Morgan did take his leg from under him. The camera angle, though, doesn't show if it was in the penalty area. A sad exit then, but no complaints from manager Dave Smith.
I thought it was a bit of a frantic affair in the first half. But I thought, well, we can hold out here. And while it stood at 1-0, we always thought we could be in with a chance. But I think they defended very, very well today, Blackpool, and didn't really let our forwards off the hook. I was a bit disappointed with the forwards today, but as I say, no complaints. The better side goes through.
Well, better news.
More. United making the best of the conditions, and Paul Smith a hand in all 3 goals. Here he crosses to Loram. Loram knocks it into the centre, and a fine glancing header from Matthew Elliott. Then the goal of the game, 10 minutes into the second half. Smith going all the way, a lovely break down the centre, then finishing off with a perfect shot past Sanson. Smith laying on the third, crossing to the left-hand side, the dummy here, and the perfect ball into the centre for Loram, who slots it home with his trusty left foot. Final score, Torquay 3, Southend 0. Great win that for Torquay manager Dave Smith.
For 8 matches. This time, the disciplinary committee could be even tougher. Well, Camborne's recreation ground was no place for the faint-hearted either. It was the venue at Scarborough. They did it despite being reduced to 10 men when Dave Caldwell was sent off yet again. Last time he was banned for 8 matches. But after seeing these pictures, Torquay officials have decided not to lodge an appeal against the referee's decision. Well, after a 2-week layoff, a valuable point then for City, particularly in view of the other results. Carlisle lost at home, Stockport were thrashed 5-0 at Scunthorpe, and not a victory in sight for any of the top 10. Well, at Plainmoor, Torquay were aiming for their 5th successive home win to keep alive their outside hopes of promotion. Just before half-time, Sean Joyce was brought down by Keith Oakes, and with the rain teeming down, Mark Loram made no mistake with the spot kick. Peterborough equalised after 52 minutes, Mark Hines free kick, and Dave Robinson puts his header past Vasey. 9 minutes from time, this superb goal from fullback Paul Holmes sealed the points for Torquay, but despite the victory, there was no happy ending for Ian Weston. He was sent off 3 minutes from time for kicking Martin Moore as he lay on the ground. Well, Exeter snooker star Robert...
Striker Dave Caldwell celebrated his return after suspension with a fine goal. Paul Holmes with the perfect cross to the far post. Caldwell taking much delight in scoring against the club, who threw him out 2 years ago because of his disciplinary record. Exeter take on Peterborough at St.
To rest with 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. Ian Weston blasting the goals into an early lead. Five minutes later, Dean Edwards, back in the side after an 8-week layoff, made it 2-0 with an excellent shot on the run. In fact, Cambridge were killed off 10 minutes into the second half when Dave Caldwell hit a superb volley. Final score, Torquay 3, Cambridge 0.
Argyle are still just out of the relegation zone. There you see it, the bottom of Barclays League Division 2, Argyle just above Hull on goal difference. Up against Leeds United at Home Park tomorrow night. Well, after 2 successive away defeats, Exeter City's hopes of finishing top of the 4th Division were unexpectedly dented again on Saturday. Their long run of home victories came to an end when they were held by promotion rivals Stockport County. Commentator Pete Barraclough.
Good clearance from Stockport. Good break too. This could be dangerous. Chris Beaumont, and a goal on here, surely. Yes, beautifully placed. Goal for Brett Angel. So 22 minutes gone, it's Exeter City 0, Stockport County 1. Whitehead. Looked like a foul in the area, yes. The referee, no doubts about foul on Kevin Summerfield. Gary Leonard committing the foul as McNichol comes up for the penalty. It's there. Jim McNichol puts City back in the game here. It's Exeter City 1, Stockport County 1.
Well, 2 Dave Caldwell goals earned Torquay that great win at Gillingham. A 3-man move involving Loram, Holmes and Paul Smith led to the first just before half-time. Caldwell scoring from close range, and Torquay's travelling fans were soon singing again. Caldwell scoring a minute from time. Well, finally this evening, dramatic pictures of this weekend's Tour of Cornwall Rally. It's the event's 4th year, and without doubt, it's growing in popularity.
The rally now into its 4th year. Take a check on the situation in Division 4. Exeter City well clear at the top at the moment, and 2 games to come, of course, over the Easter bank holiday. Away to Torquay in the Devon Derby on Saturday afternoon, and then home to Aldershot on Monday.
So a great win for Exeter City. Not such good news this week, though, for Torquay United. They were in action against Wrexham at Playmore, and here's David Woodland.
It was clear from the first half of this pretty uneventful game, played on a bouncing, bone-hard surface, that Wrexham were by far the more motivated of the 2 sides. With Torquay's 4th division status now assured, it was the Welsh side who had most to play for as they strove for the points which will lift them out of the danger zone. Ironically, it was Torquay who came nearest to scoring before the break, when Dean Edwards found himself in a perfect scoring position, but the striker blazed wide from just 10 yards out. United continued to provide chances, but none were effectively seized. Frustration began to build up. Only the ever-inventive skills of Dave Caldwell prevented a mass exodus from the ground. Paul Hirons was busy through the night on the left wing, but too often found himself without adequate backup. United had missed their first half chances. They weren't to create many more in the second. Dean Edwards failing to control the ball. And indeed, after the break, it was Wrexham that looked the more controlled side. This Andy Thackeray goal in the 76th minute, giving them their 7th win in 9 games. For United, definitely a case of end-of-season blues.
So, disappointment there for Torquay United.
Joining them, the opposition, Torquay, who were swamped in the first half at Dartford. Howard Pritchard with the second. And Pritchard, the former Welsh international, made it 3-0 after 35 minutes. Steve Butler, who settled so well into full-time football, contributed the 4th 2 minutes before half-time. It would be marvellous for Maidstone if their first season in the league saw them stepping up in standard yet again. Another for Lillis in the second half. And the Maidstone fans were too busy studying the league table to be too troubled by Torquay's goal from Mark Loram. Maidstone 5, Torquay United 1.
Well, Maidstone making an impact, Jim, in the first season.